You got too many cooks living in the kitchen. You don't know what you've been missing.
Good morning. Welcome to my podcast.
Good morning.
Good morning. At the kitchen table with Soraida and friends. And you two are my friends.
I was going to say, we're friends.
Nailed it.
Andrew, Holbert, Shaney, Starr, welcome. The reason that I started this podcast is because I believe that there is crucial conversations that need to happen, and we need to talk about things and have healthy conflict. I'm not sure what healthy conflict we will have today, but I think that
we can find something.
I think that we'll get there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. There is no plan. We're just here. Just like when I invite you over for dinner, we don't know what we're going to talk about. It's early in the morning right now. We just started drinking our coffee tea. So let's start with an icebreaker.
I hate icebreakers. First healthy conflict right there.
Right out the gate.
Healthy conflict. Let's see. First, this might show our age. First, tape or record or DVD?
Oh, Michael Jackson Thriller, LP.
I think
Gotta love the vinyl.
I think that I was given a CD.
Oh,
That hurt.
But my parents bought me it was like a sports music, like hype music kind of thing. I don't think they make that anymore.
well, let me ask a clarifying question. Like record that, I mean, because if we really want to talk about it, the first one that I had with like the read-along books with the 45.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Where you turn the page and
it was
da-ling.
Yes, it was Fox and the Hound.
How do you remember that?
Core memory.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, when you were dirt poor and you got something like that, you don't forget it.
I think I got a Lenny Kravitz CD next for what it's worth.
Okay, so for everyone listening and watching, let's learn. I just dove right in. Andrew, tell us about yourself in 2 minutes. For anyone watching, listening.
I need to time this.
Yeah. After our fundraiser, I think we got to get better at timing speakers. Andrew Holbert from Las Vegas. I grew up in Las Vegas, in North Las Vegas. Was a bad kid and wound up in the Marine Corps to try to save myself, and that ended up being the best decision I ever made. It helped make me who I am today and sent me into all the education I ended up pursuing, and the vocational pathway that I ended up landing in was really just out of trauma. Getting out of the Marine Corps and going straight into higher education, struggling. And then I just kept doing veteran stuff from then on. I had zero intention and ambition to do anything with veterans when I got out. I grew out a mohawk and had a beard, and I just really was going to do my own thing. And apparently this is my thing. So that's what I've been doing now.
What is your thing?
Veteran advocacy. And I'm a dad too, so that's my other
important
big thing. Yeah,
thank you.
That's my other priority.
Good deal. And Miss Shaney Starr.
I grew up in Eastern Oregon and Pendleton, Oregon, home of the world famous Pendleton Roundup. So let her back. I have been in nonprofit leadership for better part of my adult professional career, and I currently serve as Keizer City Councilor and Council President.
Thank you for your service. That's what I love about both of you, is that you are here for our community in multiple ways. I'm going to share fun facts. When I was driving over here today and getting coffee for you both, I was thinking, what are fun facts? Fun fact about Shaney, because I think you have the bios, right, about both of you, is that Shaney is a black belt.
What?
Yeah.
And
Shudokan.
Really? That's really cool. How'd you get into that?
Oh, that's a story. In Pendleton, of all places.
Really?
Yep. I was 6 years old, and my mom had hurt her knee and had surgery on her knee, and she was going in for physical therapy. And I walked by the gymnasium where they were having the class, and I said, "Mom, I want to do that." And she kind of blew me off. But before that, I would stand in front of the TV and I would copy David Carradine in Kung Fu and copy all of the moves. And so my mom went in and after a while and talked to the instructor, the sensei, and he let me join, but he wouldn't let me buy a gi for like a year in case I decided I wasn't going to stick with it. And he knew we didn't have a lot of money. And so he didn't want my mom to waste the money on the gi. So I practiced for a year in shorts and a t-shirt. And
I thought that was going to go a negative way. Like, because I was a girl, I couldn't have a gi. But it turns out he was really just being a really kind human.
Yeah. And I went on to compete nationally and internationally in Junior Olympics.
What?
Yeah. I actually am a Junior Olympic champion in Kumite.
This makes me feel a little bit safer in this room right now.
Yeah.
Just saying.
In case Soraida gets wily.
I mean, you got to watch her.
And I think, it's important that there's sometimes things that are said in the community when you have public figures in council or that are making decisions and hard decisions, that we remember that we're all people.
Absolutely.
And we all come from different things, and that we all come from growth and we all have stories.
That's really cool. I didn't know that about you. That's really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And so my fun fact that when I was thinking about you, Andrew.
Oh boy.
I can't wait.
Is that you won $10,000 at a job you'd been at for like a month? Why don't you tell the listeners about that?
Yeah, I was a cart pusher. It was my very first job at Albertsons, and I'd only been there for maybe 3 months, maybe. And earlier in the day, I decided to steal my dad's truck.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it matters. I promise. It's a thing. So my best friend and I would take my dad's truck, and I get caught. Right, my dad literally drives up as I'm driving down the hill, and there was no skirt. No, we were just dead on caught, and I go home, I'm getting yelled at. You're grounded. All this, and I was like, hey, so my work is doing this thing. Can I have one last hurrah before I'm grounded for the rest of my life? And he was like, for whatever reason, he was, go, yours is your last, whatever. And it's an Albertsons party, so it's not like it was a rager or anything. And our store had, the whole reason we're having a party was our store was number one in customer service in the region or something. And this is CCTV. Do you remember when grocery stores would have movie rental in the inside of them? Yeah.
We used to shop at Albertsons.
Well, I mean, this is in Las Vegas, not this one that was down the street.
No, not the one in Pendleton.
No. I've actually never been to Pendleton. Yeah, so we're all staring at the CCTV is up there, and I'm joking with my other cart pusher friends, and I'm I'm so dead, I hope I win this money so I can buy my way out of punishment. I'm cracking jokes and not paying attention, and all of a sudden I hear my name on the TV as the winner, and I was like, you guys have to call my dad. And they're like, what? Because I'm a minor. I can't claim the money. And I was like, well, you should know. And this is the store manager and the regional manager. I'm like, I'm actually really super grounded right now. I am dead. So, and so they called my dad, and he was like, yeah, okay, whatever, click. And I was like, you're going to have to call back again. And so eventually they had to meet him out front of the grocery store because they were, my he's a big boy, and he was hot. He was mad. And so he thought everyone was playing a joke on him. And yeah.
So was it
a check?
Just a raffle drawing? Was it?
Yeah, it was just employees at the store.
Most carts?
No, I definitely didn't push those carts. I was doing the best I could to not do that. I mean, it's Vegas, and these are the metal shopping carts back in the day. So that job was brutal.
What was it? Just a door prize that you won?
Yeah, I think it was just
they put your name in because you came to the party, and
no, I think it was just because I was an employee, and people at the store were mad. Like there were women in like the pharmacy that had been there for like 20 years and they were like not talking to me anymore. And I'm a kid. I'm like 16. Like I've done nothing wrong. I just was there, and it was tax free. That was the best part about that money, is it was tax free. So
what did you do with the money?
I did a few things. I helped my parents pay off some debt, and yeah, I ended up buying my mom like a used Mercury SUV, and I had a truck I had purchased already, so I was driving a Ford Ranger, and I was really into off-roading, and so I did some off-roading things to it. That's the same truck that I rolled 5 times. So just a year later, with all that money I had won, I ended up paying a whole lot of medical bills. So it was a weird like blessing and a curse. Like I was able to take care of my family, but it ended up sending me into make some bad decisions.
Helps us.
I would agree. I mean, that winning that money, I rolled my truck, which injured my shoulder, which ended baseball, and I was getting scholarships, and that was the whole direction I was going to go with my life, was baseball. Mm-hmm. That was the only direction I had ever seen for myself, and it was just, so baseball was gone, and I ended up just becoming a really bad kid. I kind of succumbed to the environment that I was already in. We're in a low income, poverty ridden school, and sports was going to be my way out. And then when it was gone, I had nothing to lose. And so I just did all the bad things. So I figured if I was going to be bad, I'd be the worst kid.
You'd be good at being bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was very
But
good.
You know what? Look at where you are today.
That's why I said in my intro, like the Marine Corps saved my life, 100%.
So your pain, as I say, pain can be a gift.
Yeah. Like you need those calluses to relate to what you're doing today. You wouldn't be the person that you are if 100%. You weren't able to relate.
I enjoy, I always find myself, I'm really uncomfortable like fundraisers, right? Like I'm a white guy and I should be like really comfortable in those sort of environments, but that is not where I grew up. I kind of have professionally became successful. That doesn't mean that my mindset has kind of came with that, right? My background isn't in this. And so it's always really uncomfortable to be in fundraiser like environments. I always tell people, I'm like, I'm just waiting for someone to find out I'm not supposed to be here. Like, are you sure he's
that imposter syndrome?
Yeah. Like it's like, did we background check him? Has anybody vetted? Let me make sure is he supposed to be here? Mm-hmm. But again, it all came it was a domino effect of from that money. Honestly, that was the beginning of an identity change for me.
Yeah, I think that without those past lived experiences, that we wouldn't have the passion that we do if we weren't. Hey, I didn't have those things that we weren't passionate about. No, like I'm passionate that these future kiddos, if I can make a difference, we will. So one thing on my mind in regards to downtown Salem, because Salem and you work in downtown Salem. Shaney and I go to I work in Salem and downtown Salem every day. What do you think about the paid parking that's coming on July 1st?
Ooh.
Oh, I have thoughts.
Here we go with the crucial conversation.
You go.
I actually am okay with that because I get, as somebody who doesn't live in or work in downtown Salem, but I go down there to shop or to eat. I actually want to be able, hopefully, this will help me be able to find a parking spot that is within 3 blocks of where I'm going. That's all I'm asking, rather than parking, 10 blocks away. And
I agree. I agree. I'm also on that camp. I think it's an unpopular opinion, but I've lived in a lot of different places, and downtown everywhere else that I've been to pays to park. I'm not saying it's fun or it's like accommodating, but it is. I think when you look at the transient population and some of the damage that has been done downtown and the chief complaints, like this is the way you raise revenue to hopefully address some of those concerns, especially as businesses are leaving downtown Salem, like in masses right now. I hope this helps keep people there. And mind you, like I represent a low income population, so I'm not super pumped at like the thought of having to pay more for parking, but I do hope I think it'll help businesses. I think it'll help consumers, and I'll take it a step further, even, and probably make myself a whole lot of enemies. But the businesses that have the seating, like the parking spaces out front, I always wonder about the equity of that. Like if I own the clothing store, like I don't get to block off 3 spots to put clothing out there. So now I'm losing.
That's a great question.
I actually have. So we're not going to have a ton of conflict, I don't think, because I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Yes.
On that topic.
She's writing it down. I've often wondered too, because how long they've been up and they're not being used.
Yeah. And if they are,
and then I have to stand outside, and I mean, this is first world problems, right?
Absolutely.
So I completely acknowledge that. And then you have to stand and wait for, and I'm looking at this, I don't know what you want to call it, but this area that's covered and protected from the elements theoretically, and that's not being used, and it's taking up parking spaces. And I mean, it could go on and on and on. So we'll see what they do with that.
What do you think? I haven't gotten into it because I completely agree. We need spots. I will drive around the block again and again. What about the app? How easy do you think that will be for the seniors? Because some seniors are savvy.
Are you talking about the box where they
right?
make
But
the
there's
payment?
going to be an app from what I've read, like Beep Beep
like
Salem.
a QR. Yeah.
I've always, I try to look at things through the lens of my mom, right? And if my mom can't park in downtown because she has to have an app to pay for it, where's my mom going to park? Because she is not the most savvy at using her cell phone for things outside of calling and watching YouTube videos. I mean, and I'm not trying to, that's really what she uses her phone for.
Yeah.
And I tried to talk to her about an app for something. And it's a generational thing. And I hope that we think about that our elected leaders and our city staffs think about those things and try to think about them from the lens of the user.
Yeah, I'll have to do more research on that. I just know from what I've read, they're really pushing the app. And then I think about the seniors. I see that some of them don't even have smartphones. Like they're holding on to that old candy bar flip phone.
Yeah.
Like the old one that is, you can play Snake
Verizon,
on.
T-Mobile and all, they're still selling them for a reason, right?
So that part is very interesting to me. What about the Chemeketa bond?
Absolutely 100% support passage of that bond. So if this comes out before the election, please vote yes.
In Camden, if it doesn't, you have to cut it.
Is this one of those moments?
Good point.
But I think it will. I believe in it. I believe in that. I believe in all those career technical education.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I've got kids that are growing up here in the Valley utilizing our educational system, and the more opportunity, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
I look at Chemeketa and what they're doing in terms of thinking outside of the box. So, for example, they're starting their Bachelor's of Science in Nursing program, right? That's huge. I think they're the first community college in Oregon to do that. Camden, cut that if that's wrong. But I'm fairly sure that President Jessica Howard said that at a recent presentation. And so when you have a community college that's thinking outside of the box and what they can do to better serve the area and the community, I think we have to support that.
I do too. I think that in terms of financial accessibility and opportunity, Chemeketa is, they're going wider and wider and wider. And I think they're dangerously close to being accused of being a university. You know, they're doing a lot of incredible programs that, I mean, like I remember when the dental program came out, that was such a big deal. And not only did they roll out a dental program, they were opening up for low income folks to come in and get dental work. That, mind you, it's by students, but I mean, like opportunity is opportunity where I come from. So we send Courtney Place residents that direction. If they can't afford this, that, or the other, you know, it's an opportunity. So I think the more programs they bring, and from a veteran standpoint, honestly, I've watched them build that veterans program for the last decade, I think. And so I've seen a lot of veterans roll through there, and we built a pathway out to Western Oregon University when I was the director out there. So they're not opposed to broadening or whatever opportunities they can for our community.
Were you looking for a healthy conflict?
No, not on that one.
Okay.
I knew that you both would. I just wanted to give them a shout out. And really, I toured CTEC's aviation program this week. It's pretty darn cool if you guys haven't been out there.
I haven't been out there. I've heard about it 100 times, and everything I've ever heard is like
all the drones. They had like the engines, like they have the simulators. They even have the simulators that move. So like, it's pretty darn cool.
I'm in my son goes to Sprague, and I really think Sprague's a pretty awesome school. It honestly, where I come from, it looks like a college. But I really want him to go to CTEC because I think that the opportunities there
they're amazing. What year is he?
He's a freshman.
He's
really
apply next year.
He'll make fun of me if he ever sees this, but he's a Mr. Cool guy, and he's in athletics, and him changing schools is never going to happen.
Well, I think that there's different programs where they can go like 3 days a week on their junior and senior year. Like they have the police. I don't know what they call it. The police department one. They have the body auto one. They have
the cosmetology and the
that
hair
one's so cool.
Yeah, and where you can get out with like a $10,000 degree. They have behavioral health. That's their number one that people are applying to.
I didn't know that.
I don't think they go 5 days. Just so you're.
Yeah, they go to 2 or 3 days.
So he can still do the
and they do like
stuff.
Yeah, my front desk manager's son goes there, but he goes to Sprague's and he's a football.
Does he?
He's senior, so he just goes like part days.
You'll have to connect me with her. I'm really curious. I need to go out there. I mean, I've met enough folks who speak highly of that I really.
Yeah, we can tour.
It's impressive.
Rhonda's amazing. They're woodworking.
Yeah, that's the stuff I've been hearing about.
And I mean, really, I would rather take science class. They have like they make lotions and stuff you can buy during their Christmas. I would rather take science than like science in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
was
hated
rough.
that. Yeah.
Ugh, that was rough.
They have culinary programs.
You didn't like the culinary programs?
No, they do have those out there.
And learn math, right? Recipes and all sorts of. I mean, that would have been a
way better.
Yeah.
Well, that's real way. Like teaching somebody about tablespoons and teaspoons and ounces.
Yeah.
Just in a book versus
having to show your work on paper and like how you got to the answer.
Right. And woodworking. I mean, you're going to use cutting wood and all. I mean, I'm not going to use it, but
look, if you want to have conflict, we could talk about the educational system, but because that
was coming next. That's why. So how do you think when you both follow the news, how do you think we're doing? What do you think we can do better at? What are some learning moments? As a person that sees kids, we work with kids that struggle in nonprofit work, and as a father that has kids in the system, what are things that blow your mind? Like, what the heck?
I think the biggest over the last year or 2 years for me was really taking the time to understand the funding formulas for our schools. I think that it's antiquated for sure. And I don't understand, and maybe it's not that I don't understand it, it's that I haven't heard a good explanation for why we haven't started the process of evaluating the funding formula and what updates can be made to that funding formula. And, everything that is in Oregon that's tied to property taxes, right? That's a hot topic. I think that as elected officials, we have to do a better job. And it's kind of a rabbit trail, but it is connected to the funding formula with schools. when we implement policy or we implement, put measures on the ballot, we have to do a better job of looking at them from what I call the 3 steps ahead, or playing the what if game. What if this, in 20 years we decide that this needs to be reworked? What mechanism is built into this policy to allow for that to happen? And then we need to do that. We need to, in my professional life, we have requirements that organizations look at their policies and their practices. Some of them every year, others every 3 years. And I think that, 3 years might be a lot to evaluate policy. But I think that needs to be baked in to whatever we're passing. There needs to be a review period or a time frame to come back and dig into it and see how it's working. Is it being effective? If it's not, what are the mechanisms that were originally built in to change it? And I think that's where we fail as a government, whether that's local, county, state. We need to, and even the federal. We need to build in timeframes to review things
or metrics, right?
Come on now.
In
metrics
the nonprofit
equals
world,
accountability.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Let's not get crazy.
Really,
but
where I was going. Yeah.
To your point, yes, metrics, but we also need to be purposeful in our review and our assessment of whether something's working or if it needs to be updated, revamped, completely redone, scrapped, you name it.
I mean, there's a lot of, I moved back out to Oregon in fall of 2023. I think that's when I think she was the new superintendent at that point, came on board. And one of the very first things I ever read about her was that the budget was just, upside down. And there was a comment made in, a Statesman article or something that said something along the lines of, this isn't a problem that we've made, it's something that we've inherited. And in my mind, I was immediately just turned off by that. That's an automatic finger point. And I don't, as a leader, that's not your role, right? You inherit that debt, it's yours. And now it's your job to figure out the solution to it, not to try to dismiss it as somebody else's, they did this. So, anyway, the approach was kind of frustrating, but I coming from Las Vegas, the school district out there is awful. Clark County School District is terrible, worst in the nation, terrible. Coming out here, everyone's like, it's so bad. I'm like, it's worse elsewhere, trust me. I'm not saying it's not, but it is worse somewhere else. But I think, I spent 5-6 years in federal government, and during the time of COVID and ARPA funding and all this free money that came out from the government. And I cannot tell you how many, we were calling it out when it was happening, that businesses, governments were building on funding that was not going to last forever. They were building concrete plans. And people don't even do that with grants, right? I'm not going to hire for a position that's on a 2-year grant, because if I don't know that I can back that funding up on year 3, then it didn't really do me any good, right? So why are we building programs, academic programs at that, on money that it ended? And now here we are with this massive debt because, I don't know, maybe we didn't want to fire people or kill programs. And I don't see any problem with that, but you have to adjust budget-wise. And I don't think that it's fair. Jacob Espinoza is running that What's Happening Salem page, right? And one of the things I love about it is he's making people love where they live again. He's bringing a sense of pride back instead of everyone being, really condemning everything that's happening in Salem and enjoying putting it down. Right? Enjoying that, our school district sucks. That's not helping anybody. Right. And as a parent, that's terrible. We should be proactive about, and I think that's one of those things is if we are seeing that, I can't remember what the stats are, but it's something like, there's a huge percentage of kids in the Salem-Keizer School District that are struggling, I think, at 4th or 5th grade math level. And it sounds like that's been a reoccurring theme. And I think it goes back to metrics and evaluations. And if we're putting money into something and it's clearly not working, where I come from, we change course. Like this is the time, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's not going to be fun, and people are going to have bad opinions about it. But it's time, and you, as a leader, I think you have to take it on the chin and make those changes. With all of that being said, I think that the school district as a whole, it's like turning a boat. It takes time, right? If we want change, you can't just expect to roll a program out and then next year see all of the results. I understand that it takes time, and I'm not trying to disparage the superintendent. I get it. It would not be a great shoes to step into. And I'm sure she has a plan. And some of us maybe need to be patient, which is hard when you're a parent. Your kids only have so much time in the school system in the first place. So to ask people to wait a few years means you're sacrificing your kids for a few years. But yeah, I definitely think that it takes time. And I don't know what that looks like, but it is. I would love to see it get better selfishly for my kids. So in the next year or two, that'd be great if they could just solve everything.
Great. All right. From your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah.
I think that for anyone listening or watching, just be involved.
Absolutely.
Be involved,
huge.
have opinions, have healthy opinions, and know that, again, we're all people, the superintendent.
Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
We're all people trying to do good.
And that's why they're there, right? Like you don't take on that position unless you really want to be helpful.
I have something to build off of what you said about being involved and have opinions. I agree with having opinions, but I would just like to add in my 2 cents on that, having opinions. Please do your research first before you have opinions. Ask questions to help inform your opinions. I think one of the problems in society that we have is people make assumptions and they make opinions based on hearsay and third and fourth parties downstream of what they heard. It's
that telephone game.
It's that game of operator, right? Telephone game. And so I think my ask of people is be willing to ask questions, sit down and have dialogue, civil discourse, right? You can agree to disagree, this healthy conflict, these crucial conversations. But at least when you form and you verbalize your opinion, you've done it after doing research and having conversations with the people involved with the issue that you're making an opinion about.
And be okay with changing your mind. Right? Yeah. Like that's a insane concept.
Like,
but
wow.
I might be wrong. You might be right.
Or you just, I never looked at it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, thank you for sharing.
Why is that such a, like our egos are so huge.
And reach out to the leaders in your community. Yeah. If you don't understand why they made a decision, their emails are.
Be civically engaged.
Yes. Send an email. Will you have coffee with me? I know that Shaney or I will have a phone call or coffee with anyone.
Or you could come to the kitchen table.
Because this is where healthy conversations happen and good conversations.
The amount of times I've been at the Capitol and I will invite people to go with me, they'll say things like, well, am I allowed to? Can we do that? And I'm like, that is your building. That is the people's building, and the people who are in there represent you and the things that you believe in and that you expect them to be. It's like, there's like a weird chasm. Like we want people to be civically engaged, but they don't understand what that looks like. And I think that's really been the downfall of this generation, maybe even two, is the lack of civic engagement, just being involved, expecting somebody else to make the change for you while you have these quiet in the shadows conversations or Facebook conversations. And what's worse about that too, and this is, I don't want to sound like an old guy pointing fingers at social media, but the ease of regurgitating bad information, right? Like you see something that's by who knows what page, who has an opinion about Iran, or they have an opinion about whatever. You read it, you share it, then you communicate it with a bunch of people. You've not fact checked it. It likely suited the narrative that you prefer. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, in academia, if I was to write a paper for an argument and I put one source, I would immediately get an F.
Oh, 100%. I remember in grad school, the director of our grad program, in the very beginning, that first class, kind of your introductory, I remember was the statement was Wikipedia is not a source.
Yeah.
And if you source it, you will fail.
Which is really too bad because I love Wikipedia. We're all out there fact checking each other.
You're like, why not?
Yeah. That's how I got my opinion in the first place. But you should, honestly,
TikTok?
Yeah, right? But you should, in grad school, the whole point of it is research.
Do the work.
If you're going to have an opinion and you know that it's going to be, if Soraida believes one thing and I believe another, I better come guns blazing. I better have all my stuff ready to go. And if she doesn't, then that, hopefully I change your mind. I don't know. But it's really unfortunate. I tell my dad this all the time, especially when I was working in politics, that people have these political opinions and it's been generationally passed down most of the time from your family, which is no shade at that. But you can't just hear somebody say something and take it as God's word, right? You just can't. You have to have the entire world on your phone. I could fact check something right now 20 different times even.
And get 20 different answers depending on where you're fact checking it.
I tell my dad all the time, I'm like, if you hear something and you something really hot, right? Maybe President Trump says something, you're like, oh man, I can't believe, check it. And if you can't find 5 news articles that are saying the same thing, and I mean,
credible news articles,
not Reddit.
Yeah, this isn't the grocery store line magazines. I don't know if they still do those anymore. But, have some education to it, right? It takes 30 seconds to Google on your phone. Just do it. Just do it.
I think that,
it doesn't cost money. Just do it. You're already on your phone anyways.
We're definitely going to have you both back. So I'm going to end this podcast with 3 questions. Okay.
Oh.
Ready for it? What keeps you up at night about your community right now? What excites you about Salem right now? And what's one thing that everyone needs to know about? It can be anything. A new shop, a new restaurant, a new product you tried.
Burger King.
Okay, so let me make sure I heard this. What keeps us up at night about our community? What excites us? Maybe for you, for Salem, Andrew, but for me, it'll be Keizer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third question was...
What's something that everyone needs to know about? It could be a product.
Oh, gotcha.
Restaurant.
Are we doing them in a row? We want to do one, and then 2, and then 3?
Let's do 1 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 3.
So what keeps us up at night, or what are you excited about? What do you want to go with?
Let's just go right down the list. What keeps us up at night? I'll go.
Yeah.
I got, for me, what keeps me up at night is making sure that I feel confident in the job that I'm doing to serve the residents of Keizer. And top of that is making sure that our residents feel safe. And that doesn't just mean having a fully funded police department, but do they feel safe going to the parks? Do they feel safe walking down the street? Do they feel safe driving through our community? And there's a whole bunch of things that go into that, but that's what keeps me up at night.
This is a really, I feel like there's a lot of identities.
There's a lot that keeps me up at night. But yes.
I think for me, obviously I work in a space where poverty is an issue, and it's priority numero uno for me every day is addressing that and providing opportunity for people who either don't know how to get to it or don't know those opportunities exist. But we're on Cottage and Court. And we have all those big, huge windows, right, literally on the intersection. And so we see the transient folks that go by, and I'm downtown. Obviously, the majority of my time in just in general is downtown, and it breaks my heart that And I'll probably get accused of some really awful things for this comment, and I'm really okay with it, to be honest. But women and children, out in the space like that, it breaks my heart that we've, as a society, allowed that to occur. For one, that's acceptable. We're okay with that being a thing. I love that organizations like Punks in the Park exist. Like, I love that, but at the same time, why the hell do they have to exist? Like, that's terrible. Like, where do we fail as a society? That's okay. And so that, obviously, that's right in my face every day. And I don't know, I know there's been a whole lot of conversation about poverty in the Valley, just probably period. And I know there are a lot of great organizations out there trying everything they can. I mean, DJ Vincent's Church at the Park group, they also have a family, I don't know what you call that, a family location. And if you haven't gone to check that out, like, maybe people need to see it. Maybe you need to see it to realize how bad it is and how heartbreaking it is. So I'd say that keeps me up at night. Poverty is such a loaded.
Yeah.
Systematically it is. It's tough.
And generationally.
Yes. I mean, if you add mental health and drugs, I like that, right? It's so much deeper. It's not like we can just solve that. But
that's a lot of kitchen table conversation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be a year's worth of conversation.
Oh, at minimum. Yeah.
But it's just, you asked me what keeps me up at night like that. It hurts my feelings, I guess, is probably the best way to put that. Like, I hate that's looking out the window and seeing a woman who's barefoot, she's screaming and it's tough. I'm a father of 2 girls, and I hate that's that we've allowed that to happen. Yeah.
Okay. Question number 2. You can go first.
What am I most excited about? Is that what it was?
Like, what's excites you that's happening in Salem? Like, you're like pumped about.
You know what? Jacob Espinoza is going to get a really big head. But I can't look. So I am somebody who was an outsider to Salem in the first place, right? I'm not even from Oregon. I moved up here because of, you've heard me tell this joke, the Goonies and Free Willy, like as a kid watching that kind of thing. I was like, oh, it looks great up there.
Not Kindergarten Cop?
Kindergarten Cop too. Okay. Nobody ever.
It's not a tumor.
so many references. I just don't want Camden to have to cut. But
okay, you can cut that, Camden.
I came up to the Northwest with a fresh mind and ready to love this place. And I lived here for a few years, and then I left, and I chose to come back specifically to Salem, to this valley. I don't want to, put Salem over Keizer. I'm just the valley, period. I always think of them as very conjoined anyways. I love that Jacob is fighting the narrative that was really prevalent. Like, coming back to Salem, it seemed like all of their love was gone. And it was very siloed everywhere. And so I love what he's doing, and it makes me really happy, again, as a parent, to have my kids who hopefully want to build up this community, make it better, support the businesses that are here. I mean, we have all these locally owned businesses, small businesses. That's really freaking cool, because you go to other big towns, that's not the case, right? Like support each other, put your money where your mouth is, support local.
Yeah, I think that we have an amazing community that is huge support for nonprofits.
Yeah.
Huge. And I think that we have great cohesiveness with, I know how close that I am and Shaney with our mayor in Salem.
Yeah.
That, city councilors over there and with the county commissioners. So
there's a whole fresh face coming right now, honestly.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It feels like there's just a good synergy.
It's like high school, like when you would put on your Letterman, right? Like, you have a great big pride.
Yeah. It's like
chest pop.
This is where I'm from,
this is gosh. It's like we all have the same sparkly jackets.
I don't have a sparkly jacket.
Would they have sequins on them?
I think so.
Would they be blue?
I don't have a sequin jacket. Just
You probably
or one of the housewives of Keizer.
Sippy
cup, adult sippy cups.
Yeah,
That is the key phrase.
Yeah,
there.
I got the to-go Starbucks cup. But that's my answer. Is I want to pput on the Willamette Valley Letterman jacket. I want to have pride, and I think there's people out there trying to build, yourselves included, honestly, like leaders who are puffing up the valley, so people are proud to be from here. Businesses want to be here. People want to grow up here and invest in this place.
And we want our children to stay here.
Absolutely. I can tell you I put my money where my mouth is. I've come back because I do believe that the inherent value here is.
I think, for me, what excites me, I literally just had a conversation with someone last night at an event here in Keizer, which, by the way, it was I'm probably going to say this wrong, but the Dia del Nino event here in Keizer. And one of the participants that was there with the local organization said that they chose to come and live in Keizer. And then we talked about what that looked like. And so I think the opportunity that we have, and I'm going to talk about Keizer, is hearing that really reminded me that we have an opportunity in Keizer and really in every community. But what is out in front of us is the opportunity to have the conversations as because we're all neighbors and we're all part of this community. And I think finally having and opening up and having town halls here to talk about the issues that will impact our residents every single day, that's a huge deal to me, having inviting people to have those conversations and be part of those conversations so that we as elected officials can hear what they have to say. And taking that, people that say, I chose to come live in Keizer, I think we really need to listen to what that was, that reason, and not just for that one person, but for everyone. Why are you choosing to live here? And how can we make this a place that you want to stay here and raise your family? And I think we're starting that by having town halls to talk about issues that are important to people.
I mean,
Healthy dialogue.
So that is what
pride
is exciting to me.
I love that we both want this bit to be better. Like it's already in people. Like you probably already have it, even if you I hate this place. Deep down, there's a part of you that's like, I really just want it to be better, right? Like if it was better, I would love it more. But it's that waiting for somebody else to do it thing.
Yeah. Like you got to get in and
bring
roll your
everybody
sleeves up.
together and
you
talk
can't
about
be the Monday morning quarterback. Okay, or oh, I wish that coach would have coached differently. Well, then go coach.
I promise your 300 followers on Facebook that you're venting to aren't changing the world. So get out there and be a part of it.
Yeah, and do whatever you can. Whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be 100 hours a week. But do what you can do.
You'll be surprised. I think there's a lot of people that don't even know what is out there. People talk about getting involved and well, there's nothing really for my X issue. And I'm like, man, I could hit you with 8 organizations that deal with that.
Yeah.
We'll come up with a list.
Yeah. And at the bottom of this podcast, there will be an email and just ask.
Yeah.
And you name whatever you're interested in, and you will have a list, a big old list.
Sit down and help you come up with that list and talk through how to do it.
We know some people. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Last question. What is something new product?
Oh,
new
what
restaurant?
Is something that people need to know about? Well, I think everybody already knows about my long-awaited dream. I mean, we're talking 10 years of Burgerville's finally coming.
Oh, yeah.
It's open in Salem already, and it's finally coming to Keizer.
Did you go to Salem yet?
No, I am holding out for Keizer. I
love that.
I am holding out. I mean, I think I have probably, another year.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we got dropped down on the development.
I mean, it's just right here, right?
Yeah, just down the street. So I'm going to hold out, and doesn't mean I don't go to outside of the area, but here in the Salem-Keizer area, I'm waiting for Keizer. But that's but what is a secret hidden gem? I would say, and this is in Salem, I would say go visit, this is for the women, go visit the ladies at Olivia's. They have something for everyone. They're some of my most favorite people. I love all of them dearly. Sandy is the owner, and
And they're
Shar,
on commercial.
And they're on commercial and what is that? State? No, court maybe?
Commercial or court or state.
Yeah, it's on commercial and then court or state is the cross street, but right there on the corner. Favorite place. Gifts, for anyone that you might be on your list. So,
Andrew?
This doesn't sound really corny. Two things. The one's the easy one. I got a flyer at Courtney Place the other day. I guess Make Music Day is coming, and they have to put out
that's so fun.
That's a fun.
And I was like, we have to get a notice at Courtney Place.
Because of the music.
I'm like, put it on the corner. Put it right on my corner. Like my residents would love it. But that's like people should come downtown. Like that's such a good time, and it lasts for a good amount of time. But my the tease I'm teeing up for you all is I just started going to Amadeus recently, and the hummus there. Oh, solid. It's
They have Small Plate Tuesday too.
Yeah, apparently there's a happy hour all day too
on Tuesdays.
Oh, now you're telling me?
I just found out. I've been sleeping on it and missing out.
And I will give a shout out to Valiant the sandwich that Andrew hooked me on. I've gone like
I'm
4 or 5 times.
I'm gonna have to go try that.
It's good, and they got the fries with the ramen sprinkles or whatever on it. I don't know. It's good.
Can I give one more shout out?
Yes,
because I just can't do 2. I have to do 3. But for those in Keizer, go visit the Keizer Community Library.
Yep, love that.
The library. Just go to the library. People should probably just go to
a library.
Yeah, go to a library.
Please read a book.
Here in Keizer, it's a volunteer run community library.
Completely volunteer ran?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a part-time kind of like
that's crazy. Yeah.
Part-time person that manages kind of the administrative side of things. But yeah, it's staffed by volunteers. We are crossing our fingers that in June, the state library will recognize them finally as a public library. So that is a whole nother podcast subject, but we're crossing our fingers. But in the meantime, go visit them. They do a great children's programming lineup and just a hidden gem in downtown Keizer.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I will have you back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I will. I appreciate you both.
We didn't have any contention, so
I know.
You're gonna have to dig deeper next time.
I am. Well, thank you both, and over and out. Big shout out and a big thank you to Valor Mentoring that recorded the video and audio for this podcast, Changing Lives That Change Lives. And thank you to Remodeling by Classic Homes for sponsoring this podcast. Thank you so much for joining us at the kitchen table with Soraida and friends. Please follow us on social media. You can find this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcast.